Hello, this is a short video to describe some advanced functionalities of niliBOX. We will talk here about multi-instance and server mode. With multi-instance, you will be able to run several instances of niliBOX on the same computer, allowing you to visualize several devices at the same time. With server mode, you can start niliBOX in unattended mode to act as a server for other instances of the same computer or for remote instances of niliBOX. But before showing how to use these modes, I would like to provide you a short description of the internal architecture of niliBOX. This diagram is a schematic representation of one PC shown here in this blue box, which is connected to some external devices and is running niliBOX, the orange box. niliBOX is a server client application. Even if you are running a single instance on a single computer of niliBOX, it is always running server and client. The server component is the one in charge of communicating with external devices. The client communicates with the server and provides information to the user interface, which is what we usually see. If we open niliBOX, it will show here. Let's open a device, and now here what is happening is that the server component that is embedded in this application is communicating with the device, with the external device. It is decoding, demodulating, doing all the heavy stuff, and then it is sending the information to the client so that the user interface can show all what we can see here and also listen to the audio. If now we open niliBOX again, just double-clicking on the same icon, you will see that a new instance will appear. I will start here also another module, another receiver, so that we can see them both running. So, as I said before, what is happening here? Now we are in this configuration. We have the first instance that we have opened, the one to the left, which contains server, client, and user interface and communicates with the external devices. The second instance that we have open, this is in client mode only. It doesn't have a server. It is only possible to have one server instance of niliBOX on a single computer. You will notice here that it shows in the title, it says client, because it is running in this mode, no server. The data that is coming to this client and to the user interface is actually generated by the server running on this instance here. This is important to understand because this instance here depends on this other here. If now I close this instance, this one will immediately stop because there is no server. We have removed this section here, this instance of niliBOX, and now it's impossible to have a communication to the external receiver. The client and the user interface have lost the receiver. You will see that there is an error message saying the server side is no longer available. And even all the devices available in the computer are no longer visible because there is no server. It is the server the one that discovers what devices are available. If now I open again, as there is no server mode running, then the server will start to run on this one again. And you can see that the devices available are again visible. Of course, it is possible to open more than two. You can go with as many as you wish, depending on the characteristics of your computer. Now I will just open the driver test, put it to run, and yeah. You get the way of working, I think. So now we have here two receivers running plus the driver test, just doing some testing of the application. I will close here. And now I will explain the server mode. As I said before, server mode is starting one instance of niliBOX which contains only the server, unattended mode. There is no user interface and there is no client. It is just waiting there, connected to the external devices, waiting for other clients, other instances on the same computer or in different computers to connect to this server and run the application. To start in server mode, we need to use an optional parameter. So the easiest way is to open a command prompt, move to the folder where niliBOX is installed. Everything is here. And now run niliBOX with the parameter --server. It looks like if nothing has happened. But if you go to your icon tray, you will see the niliBOX icon here. If you double click on this, you are able to open clients. This client that we have opened is this one here. It is not running a server because there was already one server running in unattended mode. You can see that here it shows that it is in client mode. And now we can operate as usual. We can just open devices. While it is running, we can come here and open another client instance. They are both clients. You can see in the title that it says client. I will open another one. And also in Windows, at least, you don't need to open new clients. You don't need to use this option here. You can simply double click on the icon that you use to start normally, and it will start another client instance like this one. The three of them are running using the server that is running in unattended mode. If now I come here and click on the option to close the server, now everything will stop because these instances here, they have lost the server and they cannot continue running. I will close all this and I will show you one more thing. If you want to operate always in server mode and open your clients using the icon tray, you can modify the properties of the shortcut and add the -- parameter here. Okay, then I will start it. Nothing happens, nothing shows up, but now we have the server running here. You can open clients from here as before. And now we can also close the server and close the two clients. So we have now covered the multi-instance and the server mode. Now I will show how this works in other operating systems. I will start with Linux, where the operation is very similar to Windows. And later on I will show in macOS, where we will see some differences. Okay, this is an Ubuntu Linux where I have already installed and configured niliBOX. I will open it. You can see that there are the same type of receivers configured as before on Windows, and they are running. If you want to open a second instance, you simply, at least in this distribution Ubuntu, you click on New Window and the new instance will appear. This one is the client and this one is the complete one with client and server. So I will open second receiver and now they are both running. The same as happened with Windows. If I close the complete one, the first one, the one running the server, this one will stop and very soon it will give the message that the server is no longer available. It is there. If now I open a new instance, this will be a full instance and now the devices will appear here. To start in server mode, the operation is similar to what we saw in Windows. Open a terminal and now you can type niliBOX -- server and it will start the instance of in server mode. You can see that the new icon has appeared here, and here you can open new clients and use them. So it is very similar operation. From here you can also close the server And now these clients can no longer connect to anything. You can see that there is nothing there. If you want to keep the server running, you can type niliBOX -- server and the symbol there, so that now you can even close the terminal and it is still available here to open clients. Now we have a server running in standalone mode and attended mode, and we are opening clients to run different modules, different devices. Of course, on any of these instances, you can also open new modules and they will run in the same one. You can see that they are both running here, the receiver and the driver test, and at the same time we have another receiver running in this other one. Same as before, if I close the server here, everything will stop and soon we will get the error message. Now we will see how multi-instance and server mode can work in macOS. In macOS it's a bit more tricky because when you open niliBOX, it runs as usual, as normal. I will just open the driver test, it is running. But if you try to open it again, it will not work because macOS doesn't allow multiple instances of one application. What can we do here then? The solution is to open it from terminal. You can type open -a niliBOX and it will start the application. If you want to start another instance, just type something a bit different, open -n, which stands for new, and the name of the application, and then it will start a second instance. As we saw in the other operating systems, the first one that we have open is the main one, the one running the server, and the second one is the client. If I run here and I close the main one, as it happened before, this one will stop and very soon it will show the error message that the server side is no longer available. If I open again a new instance, that new instance will become the main one, and now the devices will appear here again. Now to run in server mode, what we can do is very similar. We can use this same command. Now we don't need the -n because we are going to open it only once, and then the option -args arguments for niliBOX -- server. I think that I made a mistake here. It is --args -- server. Yes. Now you can see that the icon appears here. If you right click on it, you can open clients, and now there is no restrictions. You can open as many as you wish, as we have seen in the other operating systems. Now both of them are clients, so they are independent and they are using the server that is running in the background, represented by this icon here. I will start the two of them. And of course, as we saw before, if I close the server using this option here, both of them will stop because they have lost the server and they have lost the connection to the device. And that's essentially all what I wanted to explain. You can see that in macOS it's a bit different, but it's still possible to use multi-instance and server mode.